Jumps, jumps, wonderful jumps. They're amazing when you get the hang of them and you finally conquer them, but they can be a little bit intimidating and a bit scary to begin with. So today I'm going to be guiding you through how to conquer your first jump. But don't worry, I'm not alone. I'm actually joined by lovely guest here, Emily Horridge, Masters Downhill World Champion, who's going to help us through this journey and get to the other side, hopefully. Much like this guy coming along now. Look at this. Oh. Okay then, Em, before we get too far into it, I think we should know our foe.
Absolutely. So we've got a few different types of jumps. We've got the step up, where the takeoff is lower than the landing, and then the opposite, step down, takeoff higher than the landing.
Yes, we've also got gap jumps. So that is where there's an actual hole in the middle of the jump that you have to clear. There's no coming up short on that one. But then the safer version of that, the tabletop, actually similar to what we're on here. But that is the different types of jumps and sort of identifying them. And you can find these kind of jumps anywhere. They could be at a bike park like we are here at Windhill. They could be on a natural trail in the middle of the woods. Jumps can pop up anywhere. But then we should crack on with how you actually do a jump.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ooh. So before we get into the actual technique of how to hit a jump, there's a few things that we can learn beforehand without actually having to go up a lip at all, and they can all be done on the flat, and it's nailing the technique for the bunny hop to begin with. Now luckily Em is here and she's going to show us how that's done.
Yeah, so with the bunny hop you're going to do a squat, a pop, a pull and a push, and that's going to help you get up off the ground. And it's the same with a jump. You've got the shape of the earth to help you there, so you do your squat, then you stand tall, and then you push forward a little bit to level the bike out and come into land. So you can see those similarities.
Nice. I think we should do them.
All right,
let's show them how it's done.
Yeah.
You've got that dialed then, and your technique is actually looking pretty bloomin' good. Well, it's time to take that and transfer it over to the transition of a jump, where you will adapt it ever so slightly. So something like this little beauty here is where we're now going to learn to try and get a bit airborne.
So for your first attempt, I'd strongly recommend a tabletop like this one. We've got no gap to worry about. You can roll up the takeoff and just get a feel for how that feels. It's just a safer option.
All right then, Em, once you've done that a few times and confidence is building, it's time to take flight. Now you're going to pick up your speed gradually more and more until you probably do feel like there's going to be some air under them tyres of yours. And this is where the squat comes in. You will compress into that takeoff as you're about to head for the skies.
Absolutely, yeah. So you've squatted into the takeoff, and as you're going up, you're actually just going to stand tall, just like that.
Bit of a spring in your step.
And that's just going to send you off to the moon.
Wow, just like that.
Yeah.
All right, here comes Em. Let's see what she's got, how that technique's looking. So, whoosh! Excellently done. You could see as she went up the takeoff there, as she sort of started to hit the bottom and then the mid of the takeoff, she compressed into the bike. And then as she started to come out the top of the lip, so this top part of the jump here, she started to then spring back out. So extending her arms and legs, picking up the front, which we're gonna get to in a moment. But so far, that was looking pretty blooming good. As your back wheel then comes off of the takeoff here, off the top of the lip, well, that is when the pull is going to come into play. You are going to pull up with your arms, using that upward momentum to help carry you and the bike sort of forwards, diagonally going up, if you like, to try and get as much air between you and the ground as possible.
That's right. And so, as you're going to imagine, your bike's going to be quite up, rear wheel's going to be quite low. So at this point, you just want to push forward a tiny bit with the arms just to help level that bike out. And that's going to allow you to come into the landing nice and smooth.
Hey, actually, we better put this into practice, I suppose.
Oh, we probably should, shouldn't we?
Let's have a go. Here's how it's done.
So we've got the squat, pop and pull.
All right, then let's do some jumping. So, squat, pop, and squat, hop, and squat, hop, Right then, coming into land, we don't want to get too vigorous on that push. We want to try and land with our wheels sort of level or back wheel ever so slightly first. So when pushing forwards, don't get too crazy because you don't want that front end to be dipping too much.
Yeah, that's right. If you're landing on the flat top, that's the perfect advice. Whereas once you start to land on the downslope, which is at an angle like this, you want your wheels to come in parallel. So then you can push forward a little bit just to make sure that front wheel's nosing in nice, coming nice and smooth.
You can get a bit more vigorous with the push then, that is for sure.
Absolutely.
Here's a few extra little helpful tips and tricks to get you along your jumping way. Bear with it. As with everything, a bit of patience is required. So stick with it, and in the long run, it'll be rewarded.
Start small and work up. Starting on a small jump is a great way to learn the basics and then work up and progress.
Bike parks are a great place to learn to conquer that first jump of yours because there's a ton of different jumps of a ton of different styles.
Visualization, why not try some positive visualization, check out the takeoff, the landing, and then go away and imagine it in your head. Imagine you nailing it. That's really going to help build your confidence.
Perseverance. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Crashing's all part of it, but I promise eventually you'll get there. There we have it then, some great tips and ways for people to conquer their first jumps. And actually, if you want to check out the description below, I did a video not too long about conquering gap jumps, kind of like the ones behind me as well, but that's for another day. But thank you very much for joining me, it's been great fun.
That's quite all right, thanks for having me, it's been a pleasure.
Cool.
Don't forget to give us a big like.
Yes, bit of thumbs up, why not subscribe as well, but we're out of here, we're going to go hit some jumps ourselves. Until next time, see you later.